Kaloni Bolton was a young, black, and gifted child, just 12 years old when she breathed her last breath on December 29th, 2020. She died trying to get much-needed medical help. Her sister saw her having an asthma attack, something that had troubled Kalani from birth. She quickly took her to the urgent care in Renton, Washington, the Landing. Once they got there, the person at the front said, "We can't help you here. We don't have the stuff that can actually help you out, but maybe you can go to this other urgent care." No vitals were taken. There weren't any questions about, is this an emergency? Should we call 911? The professional staff didn't do any of that. They told her to go to another urgent care. So her sister drove her as quickly as she could to the Renton Highlands. And once they got to the Renton Highlands, they said, "Oh yeah, we can help, but you're going to have to wait in line. What we need you to do is go back to your car and sit there and wait for our text message. That's what we need you to do." There wasn't any evaluation of what was happening at that moment. They understood that it was an asthma attack. They knew that a little girl was having difficulty breathing. And they had her wait. 10 minutes go by. 15 minutes go by. 20, 25 minutes go by, and eventually they get the text. Kalani has had difficulty breathing the whole way through. By the time she actually gets into the clinic, she is clearly in a desperate state. The nurses start to put the oxygen on her face, but they're having trouble working it. It turns out it was empty. Kalani's sister heard her sister pleading for help, saying her name over and over and over again, when the doctor and the nurse came back with a second oxygen bottle and mask. This time they had difficulty working it. They didn't know how to turn it correctly. They didn't do what they needed to do. Kalani's eyes rolled to the back of her head. She started to turn purple. Her sister screamed and begged for help and finally said, "Call 911. Can somebody call 911? Eventually, she was taken from the North Benson Urgent Center in Renton, Washington, all the way over to Seattle Children's Hospital near the University of Washington, where it was determined that she was brain dead. And after 2 days on life support, she passed away. Now, too many times, in too many ways, have the traditionally disenfranchised been left out from good medical care. Too many times, in too many ways, have we found ourselves at the doorstep with delay after delay after delay in terms of our treatment. Too many times have mothers and fathers grieved over treatment that they should have received. The NAACP, the James Bible Law Group, and most importantly, the family will be at the North Benson Urgent Care tomorrow at 3:30 on the sidewalk to say how we miss Kalani, to talk about how things absolutely need to change, to explain that urgent care is not urgent, to demand that in the future, when a child comes in suffering an asthma attack, they're not pushed to the end of the line. They're not pushed to the end of the line. The family demands justice. So do we. Stand with Kalani. Breathe with Kalani. Do everything you can to make sure that this sort of thing doesn't happen again.